Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. It translates out to anywhere in time or space, and it does so using a script that went viral in 2012 that my friend Lauren Sherman first set out into the wilderness and has since had me involved with lots of the development and number system and sentence structure and as somebody to do all the commissions on the website. But yeah, so I've been pretty influential in script's development since its very beginning, and I have done, pretty sure I can easily say, the most design transcriptions in the world using the script, and this is done in the most up-to-date as of 2026 style of the script. The only thing I'm really missing is a start marker and indicator, but that's optional. You don't need to have that start marker and rotation indicator, especially in a pretty standard layout like this one, where it's just set up left to right, which the script is built to be read starting at the bottom and going counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. And that is true for the letters in a word. So your first letter in a word is going to start towards the bottom, and you're going to hit the next letters as you go around the clock. So it's like if you start at 6 o'clock and look back in time, so 6, 5, 4, 3, you'll eventually hit the letters in the correct order. And now for words in a linear design like this, if you imagine an infinitely large circle, if you start at the bottom of that circle and you go counterclockwise, you'll simply start at the bottom, or the left, and you'll go to the right. So that'll be left to right, which, because things are mirrored, it's this way. Yeah, the left to right. So yeah, that is why the linear designs work so well, is because it still follows that left to right or bottom counterclockwise if it's in an infinitely large circle. So yeah, let's go ahead and read this design. So I have this little section here which has the actual translation done in an unraveled version of the script, or linearized, and this font was created by user Impronounceable, which that's the username, impronounceable, except with a weird spelling LE at the end. And they're noted in the description, but they made this awesome handy dandy font that I have that I use to kind of explain things. And an A is a vowel, and like the other vowels, they are little circles, and they can either be by themselves, like this one, or together, like this vowel with this consonant. And vowels have different positions. For example, an A's position is outside of our word circle, where an E's position is centered. So this E is centered on the line of the word circle, where this E is centered on the M in time, and this E is centered on the R in anywhere. And just for examples, that's an O, and this is a U. An O is internal, a U is got a line going outwards, and that's relative to our word circle, that outside. It's not up and down, it's outside and inside. But yeah, so here's our first letter A, and it is a little guy, a little vowel outside our word circle. Then an N is a floating circle, so it's a circle that's floating inside our word circle, and it has one line modifier. And these line modifiers count where they end on a letter, so this line modifier ends on our N right here. And it's important that this is a little bit closer to the edge here, because if this N were centered right here at the bottom, then it would be an N before the A, because consonants are read before vowels. But over here, like this, centered in this spot, it's the N after the A, because we go from 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and this N is closer from 5 o'clock. Well, it's like 4:30-ish. But yeah. And then a Y is a crossing consonant. So rather than floating inside our word circle, it's crossing our word circle line, and it has 2 dots on it. And a WH can be done as just one letter, and it's this shallow divot shape with 1 dot. And these 1 dot columns, well, the 1 dot column and the 4 dot column were actually additions after the original 2012 or 2011 first creation and 2012 viralness of the script. And the WH letter is simply an option to help save space on a slightly bigger word, just like anywhere where you can save some space. And instead of doing a W and an H, which would be like that, you can simply do a WH like that. So yeah. Similarly, the letter C, which I'll talk about right now because it's another added letter because it's in the 4 dot column. That letter C didn't used to exist. So if you were to write the word space, you would have to spell it S-P-A-S-E. And I could have done that swap, and it still would have been perfectly legible, except I wanted to have the extra dots to kind of, make a pattern with the extra dots here on the R, on or, just kind of have that little nice symmetric pattern of these dots doing dot things. I thought it looked nice, and I wanted to just keep it a letter C, so it's just another choice that you can have. Because whenever we add something to the script, we want to make sure it doesn't make anything wrong that was done in the past. So that's something we really care about. But yeah, so there's our letter C here in space. But we're not on the letter C. We were on the letter WH. And now we're going to the letter E, which is a centered vowel. Here it is. And then our R is a shallow divot. So like somebody took a bite out of a cookie, just like the WH, except instead of one dot, it has 1, 2, 3 dots. So those are those 3 dots there. And an E is attached to it. So we have an E centered right in the mouth of that little divot. So ANYWHERE. That's anywhere. And then we have an I. So these thicker circles, well, this thick circle around here is just a sentence circle. It's a circle going around our word circle that we could put punctuation on if we so choose. And that's also what this circle is here, this circle here, which is doing something funky. Where's this line coming from? Oh, you simply didn't. We gotta. You know, I honestly don't. No, we need to get rid of that so we can have a T be a T. Where is you? You is there. You're just being weird, aren't you? There we go. There. Okay. Had to fix a corner. Uh, BB. In my first draft of this, I actually wrote the word and there, which is very easy to switch with the word or. But I wanted it to be right, and I know you wanted it to be right, so I made it, the right word. So, yeah. What were we talking about? We were talking about the sentence circle, this guy that I had merging with our word circle, and I needed to fix that. So, sentence circles, you can put little decorative divots, just like this guy here. But we've got to be careful if we add a full circle on a sentence circle. For example, this would be a period because it is a circle on our sentence circle. It's not a vowel, even though it looks like a vowel. It's a period. But if we have an A, so like this guy floating outside our word circle, it is again important that I bubble this out because this would be a period. So if I had this exact same shape in the exact same relative spot to the word circle, but it was on our sentence circle like that, it would be a period. So we've got to not have it on our sentence circle, so we make our sentence circle go away from the A. So this looks like an A instead of a period. Okay, so let's get rid of this period. Okay, so we were talking about the sentence circle before getting into the I on the word in. So starting at the bottom going counterclockwise, we hit this little guy with a line going inwards, and then we have an N, a floating circle with one line modifier. And our letter T in the word time is this shallow divot here that we use to link up with our word or. And then we have this I, a little guy going inwards, and then an M and an E together. There's 1, 2, 3 lines on that letter M. And it's okay that these lines curve. It's okay that this line curves. It's okay that this line is straight. Doesn't matter. What matters is where the lines end on the letter stem. So this one ends here, this one ends here, so it counts twice. As opposed to this line here, which this line doesn't end anywhere on the circle. It goes clean through the circle. So this has no line modifiers, where this has 2 line modifiers, because 2 lines end on that, which is good, because a C has no lines and a P has 2 lines. But we're not on that word. We're on the word time. And we just finished talking about the ME. So let's go ahead and go to our word or. So here's our word circle. Bottom is here, going counterclockwise. We have our letter O inside our word circle. And then an R, a shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 dots. And that's the or. And then space, we have this shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 lines on it. Our P, if we continue around, a P with 1, 2 lines on it. Our A outside our word circle. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dots on the C. And then this final E is on our word circle line over here. So, it's okay that these vowels are kind of in line with these consonants, because even if they were exactly in line, you would still read the consonant before the vowels, even though they are scooched just a little bit further counterclockwise to be not exactly in line and help show that they're not enclosed. But even if they were enclosed, it would be fine because you read a consonant before the vowel. So, yeah, S-P-A-C-E. So that is that design. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope this quells any fears about the potential inaccuracy of this design, because hopefully you yourself can understand how it says what it says now. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!